So let's get to the first question for the day. Why does my wife disrespect me? How can I get her to respect me? Now, disrespect is something that men can are very sensitive to. And I think some women too, but a lot of men are way more sensitive to disrespect, and they don't want to be disrespected. And I hear a lot of questions like this. And disrespect can come off in many ways, either by the way the wife speaks to them, the way their wife addresses them, the way that their wife acts around them, or even the way their wife acts to somebody else. So a lot of women treat their pastors so nicely and so respectfully, and that can trigger the husband feeling that they are being disrespected. When you speak to your spouse as if they do not know what they're doing, your husband as if they do not know what they're doing, the husband feels disrespected. And now I'm answering this question for a husband that says to me, why does she do that? And I want to say, first thing first, the reason why a wife would disrespect her husband is because she doesn't know that she's disrespecting him. That's the first point. You need to believe that. Many times women do not know that they're disrespecting their husbands because the things that a man is sensitive to, many wives are not sensitive to them. And so this is where it starts from, but that's not all. The next one is that many women disrespect their husband because they feel that their husbands are not loving them. So your as a husband, your wife is disrespecting you because she is trying to react to the fact that you do not show that you love her. And the way she understands love is attention. She doesn't feel that you're giving her the right attention, and so she's reacting in such a way that you can take note of that, and to you it will come off as disrespect. And so the first reason she doesn't recognize that she's disrespecting you, she's just doing her own thing and feeling free around you, and but you will sense you're sensitive to that because you're a man and you don't want to be disrespected. Now the second thing is that a wife, sometimes when they don't feel loved, they would act in ways that are disrespectful. And the final one is that when a woman feels that you also are disrespecting her, she will react in ways that are disrespectful too. And these are the reasons. Maybe to you, you are doing your best and you are trying to make things work. But if a woman feels that you're not respecting her as a woman, you're not trying to take care of things at home, you're not keeping to your words, she would treat you in ways that you feel very disrespected. So now let's get to how to we change that. All right. Let's get to how do we change it. I'm going to give you 3 points, and I can't do all of it right now. Right in my heart, as I'm talking about this, I'm sensing that I am going to do a series on this for men only, to help regain respect in the home. I may do a series of maybe 3 or 4 videos to get that back. But 3 things I want you to do if you want to get your respect back in your home as a man. Of course, those 3 things are wrapped about around taking leadership. You're going to take leadership. If you want respect as a man, you have to lead. The way scriptures expect leadership and talks about leadership is servant leadership. So it's not rulership, it's servant leadership. So if you are going to lead in such a way that your wife will respect you, you're going to have to take leadership of your home in the way that Jesus tells us to do, which is to serve, but to serve with strength. All right. So 3 things I'm going to show to you that you can do. First thing I want to say to you men, if you want respect from your wife, first thing I want you to do, and I want you to take note of this, is to surrender yourself to Jesus. And what that means is you make sure that you are living in obedience to God. You are living in obedience and submission to God. The way you want your wife to respect you, respect God. The way you know that scriptures ask you to respond to God, respond to him like that. It's a seed. when you take note of whatever you see in scriptures and you leave it out in front of your wife as a Christian, as a believer, your wife begins to respect you. Why? Because she can see the fear of God in your life. She can see that you respect the one who is your boss. And as soon as you do that, she automatically begins to respect you, because she knows that whatever is flowing to you from God will also flow to her. She understands that the love that God has for her, which is poured out into you, will automatically reach out to her. So the first step, if you are going to get respect from your wife, is to submit to God properly. Now you may say, oh, but I'm submitted to God. I pray, I read my Bible, I fast, and all of that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about make sure that you are aligned with scriptures in your actions. I see people who pray, but then when they want to do a business deal, they lie. They go ahead and lie with their spouse. Now, when you do that, you lie, or you tell your wife to lie for you, or you falsify your taxes, or you do anything that you know that God doesn't want you to do, and you do it with your spouse, you are sowing the seed of disrespect. That's what it looks like. Or you just mean to somebody else, not your wife. You're just mean to someone else. Every time you go against God, every time you do that with your spouse there, or your children there, the same thing, you are sowing a seed of disrespect. So that's the first step. Submit yourself to God properly. Submit yourself to God properly. The second and also very important step, is to make sure that you love your wife as you love yourself. Now, that's the same thing as following God's scripture. So the whole thing is wrapped around one, but I want to split them so that you can understand what I'm saying. Understand, love your wife as you love yourself. In other words, pay attention to your spouse. If you want to be respected by your wife, pay attention. What does she like? What's her vision? Ask her where are you going to in life? Figure it out and commit yourself to helping her get there. If you begin to do that, respect will just increase. Why? Because nobody disrespects the person that's impacting them. So you're loaded up spiritually, you are in prayer. All right. So some men say, my wife doesn't respect me, but they never have time of prayer. There's no family altar, there's no family prayer, there's no family going out to reach out in the gospel. If you're not doing any of those, you're not going to see your wife looking up to you. So submit to God properly. Secondly, pay attention to your wife. Pay attention to her vision. Pay attention to what God has called her to do. You are the leader. And what is the leader's role? To help those who are following to get to the destination. Just like Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt and was on the way to the promised land, and Joshua completed it. The same way you are, as a husband, called to help your wife to move from wherever she is to wherever God is calling her to. That's the second step. The third and final step is learn to communicate everything that you are trying to do lovingly to your spouse. Learn to communicate lovingly. A lot of men have good intentions, but they do not know how to communicate lovingly. So those three things, you keep them. So 3 steps: focus on the Lord very well and be submissive to him. Secondly, pay attention to your wife. Figure out where God is leading her. Figure out where she's lacking. Serve. Submit yourself to the process of helping her move from wherever she is to where she's going. And then number 3, communicate. Learn how to speak loving words.